Yeah.
Close up front.
Right. So. You're all set.
Yep.
Call the meeting to order. Hey. Well, we have some visitors, but we'll start with the minutes from last meeting, and then we'll get a chance, you get a chance to read it. All right.
Make a motion to approve.
Sure. Thank you. Okay. Yes. So we have PYSA asked to join this meeting. So welcome. What you specifically like to do? Yes, yes, yes.
And a couple things. Retirement.
Yes.
So principally, we're just concerned about the sale and usage of the turf, as I'm sure everybody is.
Yes.
And what the plan might be, or is a plan yet, and how we what can we do with more, or have ideas, thoughts, if we just want to slum, that was one of the,
Yeah, that's good.
and then, you know, want to listen how, but just looking.
Let me just address that one. I don't think right now there's a plan necessarily to replace the rec department for Barry.
Not that I'm aware, there's talk about the facilities director, but not a right position. Or if it's a right position, it'll be just a rec person, not necessarily the director.
So as far as promoting the turf, basically it's on the website. That's the extent of it.
At this point,
I have a friend of mine, when we referenced something years ago, he's a commissioner of the Women's Soccer League in Chittenden County. And is there any possibility that maybe this summer, in Chittenden, these are ex-college players who are very good. And spend a weekend up here, still waiting to hear them. Because their season is just beginning, but the inquiry has been made.
Yeah, yes.
So whether or not there's a firm plan in place for a position of any type, what is the plan in place for making sure that we are able to schedule and promote and market this new resource?
so we have this online now, so anybody can go online and you know, it goes right to, there's a team. If Chris, the IT person, gets it, he will check with us to make sure that there's no conflicts. And then if there's no conflicts, it's impossible to schedule for the unknown. So if on a Saturday, they say, hey, we want to come in at because I can't schedule, I've got to schedule. So short of scheduling somebody to work Saturday and Sunday by themselves up here and not know if we'll even have rental is just not cost effective for anybody.
Sure, in the promotions, I know how this has been promoted, but also are you making it very clear that in order to schedule the turf, that we need to have like 3 weeks notice or something of that nature?
No, we're taking them as they come in because the turf is so new. It wasn't, we set timelines or deadlines or anything. If we can do it, we're doing it. If it's during the week at night, we're doing it. We'll, you know, we'll make it work with back in and cover. Nobody wants to come in from. It's the unknowns, you know, we've had turf every day for 2.5, 3 weeks. We haven't had a person show up for it yet. So I've got person that I scheduled on shift that starts at 9:30, goes to 6 to cover open turf. And from 3:30 to 6, they're over there painting or cutting brush or doing something else. Not everybody in there, so.
Well, so with the departure of Stephanie, who used to work the Facebook page pretty
Nicholas has been on Facebook. It's been on, he just actually was updating it yesterday, make some changes to it. I wish that we could use the sign down on Main Street, but we can't. Because I think that would draw some attention to it.
I don't even know.
Yeah, Nicholas posted it, he put ads in the paper, every day from 3:30 to 6 until. And then I think it's open to pretty much every day until 3.
The thing, I mean, I'm sorry that I don't have too much time. I really should just be writing the minutes. But my concern is that to be promoting this properly, there's going to be constant sound, noise, pressure. You know, it's not just once in a while, it's that there needs to be somebody, you know, basically.
It requires staff, and then just, right now, Don's covering 4 positions, I'm covering 5. We just don't have manpower and staff. I'm struggling to get everything else done with the staff I've got on the second shift, because it puts me down a person a day.
Can we come back to the sign
Yeah.
down Main Street? And I've talked about this with the time here, and I've heard 3 or 4 people all say the same thing. For instance, in the newspaper, Times Article, just in the last week or two, there was an announcement that a young lady by the name of Isabel, Union 32 track, senior, got 3 weeks. Wouldn't it be nice for us to be able to put something down on the sign, hey, congratulations to Isabel? And then, you know what you're gonna say, then why couldn't we be selling on that sign? Happy birthday to Rick, you know, on his, 78. And for $50 for 3 days. I mean, it's very steady, David from Berrytown has told me. Who put those restrictions on that sign, which would also allow us to put such thing open turf? You know what? Is it the state or the city?
The city.
The state is that?
They did it because of the time that Legion wanted a digital sign. And because the city put one up, there was restrictions put on it that the city couldn't use it for personal or for city business. We can advertise an event that's going on. We can't put it. No, because it's not a rental, it's not somebody renting. It's just open turf.
Well, I thought.
Something in ordinance, something in ordinance.
Okay, so just we table this and have a very focused sign discussion later this summer, because there are a couple.
I think grab the ordinance.
So a couple things, so could we just pay it on? The VOR.
I would think that, would, because then it's not city, it's BYSN.
And then something's up with Facebook, I. Facebook, but I see that being promoted on the website, that, you know, like you're saying, fees and that kind of thing, yeah. What's it in the newspaper? Facebook. So there's a, I think there's a number of ways that you can follow up. So we get this special meeting together, or you know, we get some people that would be interested in that, especially the technology side. We offered just, and it is our tech person, is that deal.
Even up for city, happy,
Yeah. And
it's on Facebook, be happy. Oh. That.
Yeah.
Conversation,
And then the other thing we had suggested originally was, Rutland, same term, same kind of issues, same kind of issues, but they do have in charge of promoting it. But contacting them and getting any ideas, of contacting them and getting what they do would be ideal. And I don't know this up. Well, extra time or something, but maybe have him or someone like him, or someone in our organization that gets paid on an hourly basis, and it'd be minor, an hour or 2 a week or something. So, just, we want to see. So if there's a subcommittee or something like that, that is for that, because as Rick said, we
don't have anything set up like that now. But good idea.
And I'll reach out to Rutland again, I reached out to Stowe. Because they have indoor turf, yeah, like Stowe has like soccer teams. Like
Yeah.
junior level soccer teams.
Right.
And so it's using fields.
Yeah.
So these other teams are always rotating in and out.
Well, it would be, like this women's team that's, reaching out to them because they run summer camps and that kind of thing. Just telling them, hey, you got some, turf for people that sand.
Yeah.
They'd be all over. And not just lacrosse is just huge too, so that's another avenue. And then they getting in touch. Watching all.
We had the walking thing in there, and there was sporadically, we had a couple of people here and there and walk, but it hasn't been, we figured it was gonna be a lot more utilized. Because we opened it first thing in the morning, it's basically open all day. So we figured, especially during the day, people could go in there and just walk circles. I had a person reach out to me the other day about why doesn't the city start cornhole? I said, I think that's wonderful. Miss, who has the time to figure out how to get that running? Because, there's a lot of people that play horseshoes or whatever to the cornhole league. And we could schedule time and they could be in there and it's dry, for the most part.
I think also just the. Another space.
Yeah.
I agree with them. I think that every other parent say, oh, I don't know that you could run this out, because you can, I just ordered pizza and the kids ate in the concession stand. And there's nowhere kids to really have a solid playground around here, and let alone be active. 10,
Especially when you give them kid cake.
well, and we had 10 9-year-olds listening there on Friday night, they all went home and they slept. But it was great.
Prices.
So somehow a little bit like promoting that even, I think would be huge, that people just know that, it's not just organizations that can rent this out.
I've talked to a lot of people that they weren't aware. I talked to a lady the other day in Stone, and she's like, I didn't even realize.
And that's why I think that it is so new, there are so many opportunities for this, we just haven't started grabbing those opportunities to be able to get it rented out. And I think just the communication about it all just really needs to.
And it basically stopped on Jeff. I didn't even know turf was coming because I wasn't involved in any of it. And then all of a sudden, Trump showed up the day after. What's that? Like turf. What are we doing? So,
Right. Has there been a feature story in the Times Argus about?
That is not.
I don't believe so.
The field?
The old thing.
The-
It was
So what about it?
I'll have Max reach out to Dave Hill.
I think you want to do that?
Delcor is the beat reporter, and what he wants to do is expose the good and the bad. So I would like to say, no, what the feature story can be about. The better thing to do, I'm going to assert that they now have a community news section side of the front page, upper right-hand corner. That's where you can write the press release and you can say things like,
That's what Nick was.
okay, we've got a great turf available. I'm concerned that he might open up inadvertently something that isn't desired.
Well, I mean, that's.
Some way on this sign. And it's
Yeah.
saying, oh,
I know it was a challenge, but I don't remember all the details. Didn't need to. You know, even like, the real estate company on Main Street. Keller Williams, I think it used to be, but they had just one of the pictures scrolling in the window, they did, just by.
It's a combination of state law,
Yeah.
attorney billboards,
Yeah,
it's two things.
ultimately, in the world that we live in right now, make a difference. You know, people who are renting a place, putting on their Facebook page and, you know, Facebook. I don't know what to call, but, that's where the people who are going to rent, mostly, you know, people your age.
I have to share something I found out yesterday, believe it or not, we also have to think about something like influencers. I was at the library trying to figure out how I promote some teen programs at my place. And one of the librarians said, oh, I plan to share this with one of our influencers. And I thought,
Who's,
oh my goodness. So I just want you to know it's that,
yes,
and that's why having something out there digital is gonna, I mean, we've got to at least talk a language.
So it is huge to promote on like Instagram or Facebook or those types of things. That's why I was asking where the Facebook post was, just because I never saw about the open turf. Because it is the type of thing, the more shares that you make, the more it just pops up on other people's feeds. So people who are just scrolling through, it just instantly shows, but that's where also we could promote on our own BYSA Facebook pages, posts that you guys make as well about this, because we have all the families already that are involved in our program, that it would instantly go out to.
So I think we're all in agreement that these are, you have limited staff, can't really, we're not doing much. Subcommittee and get people here to promote it, it's a good idea. Move forward with that. Usage to get out. You had,
it's a piece that I did do about every 2 months. I send out an email response, that's about 70 different businesses. And I did include that. I do, I get another email blast. The next week or two, I will be sure to mention in a second. And encourage Rock of Ages, if you folks are thinking of having a special day for staff and whatever. 13. Oops, yeah.
there's somebody from, say it's Sheridan and Burlington reached out, because they're always looking for places to do team building. They have conferences, do team building for a day. And so we talked a little bit about it. And they said they would keep it in mind, but they're concerned. Somehow they have to get everybody from Burlington down here, because there's no place down here to stay.
I'm still,
But if they had, you know, I don't know what the rates are still. And then it was still has a lot of teams in there practicing. So it may be something where they want to, they can't do that stuff.
Right now, we have the.
okay, so we do, you have to, yes, let's,
So I'll just be, I think it was less than 1 year. And again, it was for Rick involved, but the beginning of the turf benefit. And you know, when they took it back, show. Yeah, we got relayed, we're very concerned in the fact that here's, an expensive turf. And, if you need help, let us know in the future as far as overseeing it, because what happened was we understood. And they all assumed that those were 4x8 panels, and we had gone through and labeled each panels. And they just took them up and stacked them, and just laid it back in as they came off. So that's gonna be all of the carpet around the perimeter because it didn't quite fit. And understood too, the fact that we laid it down, we were being very particular and that kind of thing. So just guys, well, it was pretty loosely laid, and so there's joints. I understand that's going to happen each time with see, different crews doing it. So how do we go about managing the relation? So that's something, when it goes back to the next.
It is a particular operation, it's tedious.
Yeah.
All jobs that have done thing to numbering panels, but you was the last thing I could pick it, pick it up in a moment, but later,
They should have gone in the right way, they should have, if they're tight, they should have.
Yes.
So,
And so there's two other things along with it, right now. There's 9 or 10 panels that need to be reversed, and, so I don't know what that.
Yeah, I'll have someone to do it.
So probably it's.
Yeah,
Well,
well, I'm gonna have somebody, but they've got graduation in the next 2 days, but yeah.
that what it is when we first walked in?
Yeah,
Well,
it's just the way is.
it just, I mean, you gotta just turn the panel.
You gotta disconnect some of the Velcro.
yeah, but it's a little more than that. There's a vote.
Yeah.
Okay. So just a little tedious.
Jim and I.
No, let me know when you do, if there's only 10. Then the other part too is that, we asked the glass panel in the corner be replaced, even the netting, worst case, but the glass panel, because we got the cross there. And, we were told by the staff, yeah, we're putting it in before the show, because we're gonna be taking it out, but the glass panel now should be able to go back in. Because it's gonna be, used till September. And, sometimes we got panels get put back in, and again, if you need help or something, you need to.
If it's gonna rain, it'd be a good day because it takes like 4 people to put one of those panels. It's not, but yeah, let me get that on.
But again, something like that, if we needed to volunteers, and it could be later in the day or something like that, it's good.
Yeah,
We.
I appreciate that.
Something we help out, and at worst case, if they could immediately put that netting, I can just see.
I asked, I went over there yesterday and I'm like, why was the netting not put back? And
Some kid walked in the door and crosswalk through that net.
yeah, and the person that was over there was the person, because it was like 5:30, I think, when I went over there, because I was finishing up some stuff here. And I went over there and like, he mentioned the glass panels to me yesterday afternoon. And I said, well, at least put the netting up. He's like, I don't even know where the netting is, because he was at when we put all this in, so. The other guy's back today, so I'll find out, and I think we can just put the panels back up.
as far as the installation, I think that the crew, they didn't get much experience in the first one, but this install, they should get now.
Yeah, the problem is, I didn't realize that all the things, just the ones around the outside weren't numbered, and so
Yeah.
I labeled all the ones around the outside. And then when they went down, they got just the 4x8s just got put forever. And so everything's gonna have to be labeled and
Which should,
start at the middle.
it shouldn't matter too, we have numbers that should go the same way. That's mainly for if they do graphics. So
Right.
should be 4x4, should be able to go anywhere.
Yeah,
As long
they
as they're
don't,
the same way, so the grade is.
but they don't, they're not all, I put 2 down beside each other, because that's what I thought, 4x8, 4x8, it's not. some are a quarter inch, some are half an inch, some are a quarter inch short, they all vary, so.
And maybe when we know that ice needs to go down, what if we take a week prior, stop scheduling turf and we kind of take this time to reorganize?
We're going to,
Yeah.
maybe not a week, but at least 3 or 4 weeks, and we're gonna start in the middle. Because what I did is when I did the outside, because the outside wasn't laid, I started and you had W01 was west number 1, E01 was east 0. So it started in the middle, that's where we started. And it worked its way around. So what I need to do is I need to make sure when those 2 center ones are pulled up, that the ones going across are all labeled, so they go back down in that same pattern. And we put them down, those center ones first. Then you move out, and you do one on each side, so that you know when you get to the end, if you've got to adjust, you only adjust one row, not the whole thing. And that's.
Well, and maybe because are already labeled, finding the correct pieces that go with those ones. And that's where I'm saying that also, BYSA has no problem coming down, like a few people coming down and helping organize so that we can grab all the west 01s and throw those all on, one pallet together, so then when we go to relay it again.
Right, and that's what we try to do is get them, so you're taking them in reverse order. So you gotta put them off, but where do you stop? Because they're pallets or, so I was trying to figure that. out. I understand what you're saying. The problem is now everything is cut to line up with the panels that are there, which weren't laid out in the numbering pattern that. Well, I mean, so everything was numbered when you guys did it. When it was put back down, nothing was put back down in accordance with the numbers, and we had 8 panels missing.
Well, I think the center lines, because that's why those. And
No, those are the panels that are missing. Those are actually, because the west side's supposed to be yellow, and the right side's supposed to be white. We have like 8 panels. We, after the highway show, we have 8 or I think it was 8 yellow panels. Can't find them.
oh,
So we don't know if somebody stole them during the highway show or what happened to them, but we can't find them anywhere.
So we have extra panels, we use all those.
Yeah, we didn't use all of them, no, we still got a bunch, but
the leftovers are. Main line. But it's right. That's why. We get here.
So
So just
learn
keep us
from
going.
experience.
Yeah.
You've got the grade still, you know the markings.
yes,
And then the Don understand finally the mini statement issue. I haven't seen the bill since, so.
I don't check with her, no, I saw your email, I understood it, so. Explain it to me.
The first paragraph said, BYSA rental turf is 24 hours at $55. And then total over on the right.
Yeah.
Next paragraph had it broken down to say, then the next paragraph was basically turf usage fee and another amount. And then down below it says something about another fee.
Replacement.
And so anybody originally looking at it would say, we're getting charged for three, we only agreed to charge for these other 2. And unfortunately, it was working up. Figure out that they're only charging 55 total, but the first paragraph has the usage being 55. So it really needed to be a line to itself. Up.
Yeah.
Off to the left, and then the other paragraphs rolled down, understood you need to break them down, but still the way it looked to get somebody kind of.
Yeah, I'll touch base with her just once.
But you understood.
No, absolutely.
And the other minor things are the minor things. The didn't know as far as roof leaks, because we just concerned that there's some stuff that we have in there, and the other groups have in there that are getting wet. So didn't know somebody had been able to do some patching and do some roof or.
So that's a good question. I've got Beatty here, actually was working on the front awning with their overhang.
A plan, there's a plan.
Yeah, and there's definitely, he's going to be looking at the locker room roof over there, as well as both the garage roofs are leaking, and the insulation is just saturated, so he's gonna be looking at that. So, no idea, but, It's gonna be looking at all that. We ran into problems over here, so we're hoping that we don't have the same issue over there. He's supposed to be looking at them. He's got, the walkthrough between Subway and Exxon. He's doing that one for us. And then, tomorrow, we're actually having the AC unit taken off City Hall roof with crane and a new one put up. So he's on standby to do in front of that, in the operations.
The last one I had, 2 years ago, but we bought a bunch of equipment. Schedule, and you don't have to do that, you put it in, because the reason I'm asking is the door doesn't. And we should, sure, we put it in the
They use it during the winter, but we could find another place to store it for the off season. I could store it in here.
4 weeks.
Yeah,
Before we can replace the door,
Yes.
you know, so.
because all the doors over there need to be replaced. The frames are completely rotted.
So it doesn't represent-
That'll build up. It can go orange.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good room, to the old skate room, it's a decent
Yeah,
storage.
Yeah.
So we can fix the door. Otherwise, we're gonna move it.
I've got somebody come look at all the doors, because every door in that building is either rotted or bent or twisted. The locks don't work. You can't get keys anymore because the keys were some special security key that they don't make anymore. So, yeah, there's a lot on
the big one would be the panel. Getting that.
yeah, that's on the one by the stairs going up. Yeah, so the guy came and took all the parts to get it fixed, and they just never come back. Yeah.
So,
Isn't that the safety door?
yes.
No, it doesn't open with the panic bar. You can open it with the key, but you can't open it with the panic bar. It's supposed to be.
Art, yes.
Two things. On this layout, maps or whatever they put. Is some information going to end up in that little machine that you got in front of you?
Yes, it's already, I've got one in there of the full ring size and everything.
Some instructions, one page or something.
It's gonna be, yeah,
Or beer truck.
it's, well, yeah, it's gonna be labeled, it's gonna be, I try to do a peanut butter and jelly of everything I do, which is like, lay it out in the most simple details, like go to the cupboard to get the peanut butter. The cupboard is located here.
And by the time you come to that works, Jeff retired, they had shown up.
Very similar to that. You're gonna have the same discussion next year. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest thing is too, like I said,
Taking the time.
well, and just using the resources that BYSA also has. Because we really don't, we love to see this turf here, we love that we were able to help invest in it. That we also have no problem putting more volunteer hours into helping with the turf, if it's just you guys needing more,
Yeah,
I just
more
want
manpower.
to make sure they already put in or documented how it should be done instead of.
yeah,
Well,
it's gonna be a very detailed. And that's what I'm finding with everything that I'm touching, there is no plan.
Yeah, so there's no plan now. Very detailed one might be made on the road, but something in between, you know, is better.
There will be, yeah, and I mean, even floor, plans, like I've got rentals over here, and people are like, can I get a floor plan on me? And what I find is garbage, the measurements are like one line, it says 96, and I'm like, well, so that's garbage.
And the information,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just saying, it's not there. Rules and regulations, whatever, see what we got. So, anyway, this is one more here, when we discuss the sign and what was going to be. covered, see those rules.
Yeah.
My, probably, was that, you know, city put things on that sign, couldn't make a thing for your birthday or whatever. else. City would use this. Sign, the, like, rent, thing that has to be a rental, it's not even a.
that's what I was told. Haven't seen the ordinance. I'm gonna pull it.
Henry, I share ours and then
That's great. Like I said, I didn't pay attention to it because I was HR and IT. I didn't need to pay attention to it. I needed to know, I needed to make the site work.
That's 3 or 4 times, and I get it, it's like Casper blowing smoke in my ear.
Yeah.
I don't ever seem to get the same answer from different people in different positions.
Yeah.
Rick, question here. The turf goes down, when hockey season is over.
Correct.
Now, that's a two-fold question. Is the state highway should come back?
They're supposed to be, and they're already been made clear that the turf is not coming up next year,
So
which
the
means
turf,
they can't park
the
in there.
turf goes down in end of March.
Yep.
Is there any reason for it to come out for a day or 2 or 3 or 4? Still, can it just go down in 1 year?
So that's the way it's supposed to.
So it won't be
The
that.
only thing we might run into next year is I just got a quote on replacing the manifolds. Well, I'm getting a quote. They were here last Friday. Give me a quote on replacing the manifolds for the rink. The manifolds are completely shut, they're rotted right out. And if they make it through the winter, we'll be doing really. And so I've got 2 companies getting us quotes on what it's gonna cost to replace those manifolds. And it may be something that gets done next spring. But if we have to do that, it's just basically the far end and maybe the boards to be able to get in there with a lift truck or something to put them in. Because that would be the only thing.
So, it wouldn't be the ideal. That's when everybody wants to use it.
Right, I would shoot for like a midsummer thing where it's, everybody's outside in.
Or if it has to be, like the last 2 weeks in March or something like that. And the first week of April, maybe.
Well, no,
That's,
Ross was wanting to get in there,
I know.
and so even if you maybe have to, what if we just had to tear out next year, if that has to happen, what if next year we just have to tear out the turf in like September?
so, no, it's just, so at the end of the rink, it's, the trough is up. I think it's 4 foot wide and it's just steel panels, full width of the rink.
Oh.
And those have to come out, so they can take those manifolds out and then put the new ones
It's
in.
minimally invasive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
but my thought would be, you don't wanna do it in the fall, because the fall is when you get football and soccer and you got maybe even field hockey or whatever in there, some lacrosse. You would do it midsummer, and what I'm trying to do is work with them. Because as all of you business owners and deal with business, if it goes down and we need an emergency one, it's gonna be twice the price. So if I can start planning it now, working with Nicholas and Don to get the bond, because when I told Dawn we needed to replace it, she's like, well, what is it? And I was like, Jeff doesn't have this in the capital plan. She said, no. I said, we've known for 4 years that this is failing. Should have been on the capital. And then she asked me, if it's gonna be more than 100,000. I said, if it's under $500,000, we should. Because it's, it's 86 feet wide, it's 2 pipes made out of stainless steel with basically pipe nipples every foot, all the way down through. So it's gonna be expensive. And so Nicholas is all on board with trying to figure out the bond for fixing that and roof and other things.
It's not that much, but we'll find out. You got any, so the only other thing I got, so when this thing was set up, portion of the rental for that is being reserved for future equipment and things like that. Is that being accounted for?
Yes, so I've got it in a separate line item. That's why it's broken out on the bill. There's that restoration, I think she calls it restoration fee or something. It's a set money aside for replacement and other stuff.
Okay, you guys, anything else?
no, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate you coming by, appreciate all you have for the trip.
We do, done.
You try to make personal one, because like on the weekends, sometimes if I run somewhere, I take my personal one with me, like mainly the work one and counter. If you need to reach me, it's 802 793 0788. But if you need to reach me, and you can't reach this one. No problem, thanks.
So, Rick, appreciate everything you're doing.
Trying.
Appreciate you coming on and
It's, I wish this had happened like midsummer. Because just springtime, there's just all these things I don't know, like the pool, the playgrounds, and we've got playground equipment down everywhere, and the roof up here, he's working on it, but he tore up the rubber membrane yesterday, and whoever did the roof before used basically a foam that absorbed the water. And so the foam in there is literally saturated with water, and that's why everything under it is rusting. And so he pulled that all out yesterday, and he's getting me a close foam to one of the water.
Great. Okay, excellent. Moving on here, exciting is earmark funds. So a little development on that one. Once you probably know, we had, the original deal was 3.4, we could get additional funds. And we had come up with a 40% match of that, so 2.6 or something like that. The match has been difficult to get. Every city is tough financially. So they've reached out to FDA, which I don't quite understand, but anyway, they've reached out to the government committee responsible for this. They basically said that you don't need the matching funds. They will give us the 3.4 million without any matching funds. Fair statement?
Yeah.
And I think he's applied for that. There's some official.
Yes, he's
Okay.
applied and should be seeing it somewhere around mid-June.
And he's been told strongly by them.
Yeah.
So here's just paperwork. So the good news is that we'll get 3.4 million to start the project. Bad news is it will not be 6 million. So I guess we're kind of by it.
So, yes, and so we had a department meeting yesterday, and there was some discussion about state flood mitigation grant that the city is going to apply for. And in that grant, they had a couple of things in there, and I said, can include conditioning or the op as part of that. It's a place for people to come if they need to, as well as a kitchen upgrade over there to be able to feed people if we need a shelter. And Nicholas was like, I think that's a brilliant, so we're gonna try to get more money to try to help offset what we get from here.
Great. There's, you know, if we get 3.4 money, you know,
Right.
electrical's take a massive chunk.
Yes, it is. That electrical is,
A massive chunk. And this wise, you know, the bathrooms and
that's,
be used to make it, you know, people come in here for a year, the state tournament.
Yeah.
It's just, you know,
It's right.
it's, you know, it's got the history of the old thing, which is great, but you don't want to feel like,
exactly.
you don't want to spend this money with the infrastructure, build it first. But it'd be nice to dress it up.
And I think part of that is we're gonna look at, Nicholas and I are gonna meet and talk about it. What we believe we can get with the 3.5, as far as the boilers, and the electric, and maybe some ADA bathroom stuff. And then apply for ADA bathroom upgrades and kitchen and AC through this other. And being that we're signing a new point of distribution contract with the state. And then, we're actually having a debrief with the state about how everything worked and all of that. So, the state looks at this as a huge resource for this region, and it is, and the other communities benefit from it, so. We're really good that this is a place for emergency shelter, and we need to upgrade it to be able to handle that. Whether it's air conditioning or heat, they both need to be working good. Well, I haven't seen fuses since my parents' house. The old screw-in fuses, I haven't seen those since my parents' house, so, and that's what that whole place is. Fuses. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's Michael.
I haven't seen those in years.
What's this contract with this?
Point of distribution, so like when they did the COVID shots, we have an agreement with the state that they can rent the space and they come in and we'll accommodate, we'll make sure we accommodate them. So we have, like in this room, we have all kinds of emergency medical supplies from Central Vermont Hospital. In case there's a catastrophe, we can handle that. They've got their internet connections and all there. So there's a full piece that the state is already paying and having us stand by. So we're hoping this even more. So.
They don't prepay it, they pay it, they decide to use it.
I'm not sure how the payments all work. I've got to read the contract, but we met with them.
Budget.
But this place has proven itself to be a good shelter, I've used it several times.
Yeah, and if you had AC in the summertime, it would be even better.
Kitchen.
And the kitchen upgrade, I mean, you walk through there and catch a whiff. You have big nose. But you can catch a whiff of gas. And I know that hood vents have always been an issue with fire departments. So if we can get that into a commercial kitchen, I think it would also rent, because people could actually prepare food there and serve it.
I think that's reasonable, you know, right now, the city is funding the whole bill for that, like, so it's in the greater area.
Right.
Should be the state.
Yeah, and so I'll push him, and when I brought it up yesterday, Nicholas was like, oh my God, that's great, that's a great idea, let's try to make that happen. So I'm meeting him, Deputy Chief Allsworth, Dawn will probably be, because she's finance, but trying to push to get more money to help offset that. Not a loss, because we were never promised it, but the reduction in what we're gonna have to get things done on there, so.
That'd be great, because, it's exciting at 6, it's exciting at 3.4, but that would not touch nearly.
No, and when I started trying to figure out where the quotes came from, I mean, it was EF Wall saying, I think the electrical's gonna cost you this. It wasn't like, putting in and saying, okay, for us to replace this panel and run new wiring, this is your cost currently. So I don't have like firm quotes, so I'm gonna be reaching out to local electrical companies to actually get firm, at least ballpark, so that we can move forward, figuring out where.
Scary number.
Yeah, heating's gonna be a scary number too.
There is not until you look near the stage, but the lower panel
Yeah.
basically has a problem. There's water damage coming in.
Mhm.
So even though it looks like it's permanent, it really is potentially in need of some work.
So you walk all the way around, there are major holes in between the brick and so I reached out to someone who told me CDR, but I haven't ever sent back any disclosed. To figure out if he could tell me a name of a mason. Bernie actually was gonna reach out, Bernie's the one that told me to reach out to see him. But
Is that our masonry?
Zider,
I think all of the other.
okay, because I mean, I can do sheet rock, I can do construction, I'm not. I mean, I am a mason, but not that mason, so I can definitely reach out.
And Rick, were you able to actually access the documents that I had sent?
I could, but for some reason. It allowed me, I don't know if it's just an update or upgrade or, but yes, I was able, I downloaded them all, I've got them all saved and printed.
So I've still got some larger
Great.
documents. You want me to just make copies or what's?
If you want to bring it in, I can make a copy of the machine downstairs.
So, any other questions on the earmark? Next item is the Civic Center. Now, we've always looked at it 2 different things, that earmark is the big stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of little things that are, we'd like to focus, that are more manageable. And you have a spreadsheet that you sent out.
Yeah.
One of the big things for us was underneath that roof,
Which, that's gonna be happening as soon as we figure out. When they get that, done. They started that yesterday, and that's when he ran into that open cell phone. And it was like, no wonder everything is rusting underneath and it's leaking, I mean, this should have never been used up here. So he reached out yesterday to his supplier. Called me last night to give me a quote. But we'll get that fixed, and then we'll look at the material over there and see if it's tin or whether it's copper or whatever it is.
Was it originally a rubber membrane or was it always some other?
No, it was a rubber membrane, but
Yeah.
whoever replaced it years ago, whenever they did. But whatever they put in for foam, in moisture, and it's sitting above metal, I'm assuming tin. So that's why we're getting the rust stains and everything. There's so many things that when I look at it, I'm like, why? I mean, we put 440 hot water heater, yeah, a 240 hot water heater into a room that's wired for. And we have it all plumbed in, the plumbing looks beautiful, but we can't use it because it's a 240 hot water heater and a 4. So much, why did we not just switch to on-demand hot water heaters? We've already got propane in the BOR, why did we not switch? But I can't, I guess it's pretty, just have to
No,
know.
but you gotta deal with it all now. So,
It's all good, we'll figure it out.
okay. Any other projects that are on people's minds that we haven't talked about?
Well, something that we might want to consider starting in the fall, that would be a project in the sense of our typical project, is that we might want to try to reach out, if we don't have a staff replacement, go down to, let's say, the Barre Career Center and check out, if they have digital media. And maybe we could find an intern who could help increase and improve some of the communications.
You mean like the social media person?
Yeah. Pieces. They do website,
Yeah.
design, they do a lot of different activities. It could be potentially an assignment for a young person.
So we have talked about numerous times, is having a social media person on staff. Montpelier has one, Burlington, I mean, most bigger cities have one on staff. To handle Instagram and Facebook and, you know, all the other stuff. And with, that was kind of what we, and it's kind of IT at the time, is I was doing that in the manager's office. And then the other people, Nick, when he came on board, was doing a lot. He was really good, but he was also really involved with Granite City Roads. He knew what he was doing. Unfortunately, the person that's the manager's executive assistant now doesn't have the skill. So it's kind of like trying to show, but it we really need to get it from the center and, you know, depending on what happens here, there's a lot of ideas that I move the marketing forward for up here. But I need somebody to help out.
Sure, and I mean, it's one of these projects that somebody can also do at home.
Yeah.
You know, the beauty of this type of role is that it can be,
Yeah,
it can be something that somebody does. And it could be a college student, it could be a high school student. This is basically, it needn't be something kind of more formal, like a traditional various.
it could be.
I have no interest in doing that, but you speak. It might be better to move on from me and combine the showings of the advertisement in the building with that IT person for the sign downtown and pushing the turf in the building and so on and so.
I don't,
Go into that.
I don't know if that would be, I mean, I think about.
I think we're in a phase right now where continuity really actually matters.
Yeah.
And so,
Anybody can say.
well,
That's not true.
Not my.
That's not true. Not anybody can, you have to be able to sell. And certain people can't do it.
relationships, and that really matters. You're right.
I got a person told me the other day that they can't use a camera because it's broke. I said, what do you mean a camera's broke? One of the claws had a chip out of it, so you couldn't use a camera because it broke. I was like, okay. I asked him to trim some shrubs. I said, I got the shrub trimmer for the cemetery, you just trim the shrub over here, because I cleaned up all the trees out here, and just trim those shrubs. I don't know how to do that. sheet rock, I think we have all the offices. They just,
Yeah, we live in an environment right now where a lot of 18 to 20-year-olds never hammered the nail before.
it's crazy.
So
It's
different
crazy.
generation. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you've got your best, love to see an updated version of that, because the one I have is.
Yeah, I think that was when I just started.
Yes.
So locker rooms over there, all sheet rocks all repaired, all the locker rooms are painted.
Yeah.
We're working on sanding and reburnishing all the benches and painting the bases of the benches, to get those looking good. The view.
Over there.
Sorry. And then concession stand is almost done. We've got one place that, I ran it by Nicholas Don, and there's a section of the wall next to the granite, the concession stand. And that's where the ATM came through, and the problem is that it's flat. You can't put sheet rock. It's not gonna stick, and if the kid kicks it to the skate, it's just gonna shut. So we're actually gonna switch it, coming very pine to match the other side of the concession stand, and paint it gray so it's cohesive. And that'll finish up the inside of the concession stand. And then I've got Benoit's quoting me on a new ammonia, because the ones that were put in have to be replaced every year and a half. And the ones they're quoting on, this is, you can replace, so they're probably more expensive out of the gate, but I think in the long run. The heat, beam sensors that are in the VOR that disabled most of the time anyway, are gonna come out. And we're gonna switch to something different. Give me a quote on that. Lighting is the big issue right now. All of the lights. Can't get them anymore, so I'm ordering 4-foot LEDs that will work with the ballast. And we're swapping them out. And so. One of the big pieces is over in the VO. So. I'm kind of waiting for July 1st for the new budget, because
Yeah, Vermont. It's.
they're gonna. They're gonna actually reach out. Sue actually gave me the name of the lady that. Yeah, I can't remember. So I'm gonna reach out to them and say, listen, we've got the old can lights over here. And if you haven't been over there, it's the high beams or high beams that. They're pretty bright. I was pretty impressed when that they. So we're looking at changing those out when those bulbs fail, because you can't get those bulbs either.
Right. Okay, excellent. Okay, any other?
Just gonna say, it's city divide. There's almost 500 AD in the city.
Okay, it's, yeah.
Big enough for a street car garage.
Yeah, it'd be great. It's fun. Yes, but yeah, that's the issue with that.
Build it.
Just replace all those balls.
Oh,
There's 5 balls.
Ceiling dollars.
So moving on, next up is. Jim.
Thank you, Charlie. There's a little good, a little not so good, and a little bit of ugly here. Not so good. 3 or 4 different contacts have been made in the last month to see if in fact they might have interest in coming to the auditorium the next 6 to 12 months. The first one, was reading in the World of the Free Press about the Department of Labor. CA actually had conferences or conventions, secure persons to come looking for employment. And just this past year, the Department of Labor same. So I called the labor and was told that they do it in the labor, which I didn't know. And they thought, well, maybe, and they do it in the spring. That thank you for calling, we'll put the auditorium down to the possibility for next year. So the seed has been planted, maybe the Department of Labor will come to the auditorium next spring to open house for employment.
That's interesting because I did the Department of Labor's over here. Came up here, it was pretty sure it was the Department of Labor that did it.
He didn't know what it was.
Maybe it was when
He
they,
did it up.
yeah, I actually had a booth over here set up when they did their. Hiring expo or something.
Secondly, made contact with the folks over in Northfield and Darlington. Remember last year, two things happened. They had their business meeting here and they also had their holiday reception here. They're planning to, and the reason I is that would they give some consideration to do, when they do their sock sale in November, they give some consideration about coming there and joining. They are planning to come back from a holiday. Festivity, that might be done in January this year. They do also believe that they're coming in for their staff meeting sometime this winter. Sock giveaway, the owner wants to do it in Northfield and continue that tradition done in Northfield. So we missed out on that. A third
They are
piece,
scheduled to come in, I wanna say this fall. Or I think it's just on the calendar, doesn't tell me what for, I'm guessing it's still marketing.
it's pre-market. We get from the whole staff, and we did that last year, we had about 75 people here.
Yeah.
They fill up the auditorium. Another piece, going back to reading it in the world and going back to when I was in high school, I'll start with that. When I was in high school, for some silly reason, I got nominated to go to the Vermont State Music Festival. That used to be a big deal. It was held at the Burlington Auditorium. And we go down there, all high schools throughout the whole state of Vermont, we would go to Burlington 4 days. And we would practice on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we would have practices, and then Thursday night, or Saturday night, would be a concert, the Memorial Auditorium, they would sell it out. Correspondingly, high school bands from all over the state would converge on Burlington on Saturday, and have a parade sponsored by the Vermont Music Festival. I made contact with them because it's devalued. Components of it isn't what it used to be. And now they do on a rotating basis. They go around the school. This past year, it was held this fall. So I contacted the Vermont Music Festival Committee. But like, ridiculous, I didn't say that. Years ago, that person's coming, yada, yada, yada. You forget any consideration of coming to the very. Thank you, but no thank you. They seem to be somewhat pleased with the way things are going. So. Yeah. The good news is, the winter solstice that we had last year, with the 4 local schools, we had over 1,000 people attend that event in Saturday. That's been rescheduled this year. The popularity and the demand from all sites. We're doing it on the 3rd of January. 2 days, we hope this year, because we're hoping to go to 6 schools, which would bring in 4 more teams. So that looks like it's going to be an annual event, so that continues to grow well. Secondly, a friend of mine is currently the girls' coach at Mount Mansfield High School. Just spoke with him yesterday, as a matter of fact. And he asked me 6, 8, 10 months back. I want to bring the team playing the opportunity. But here about each fall, and said, hey, let's see if we can get it together. So, with his assistance, and this, this is like 6 months out, but we can't plant seeds. It looks like a very strong opportunity, very opportunity that we're going to be able to get 4 D1 schools coming in from Chittenden County here in the auditorium for basketball. Those schools right now, possibly, Will be Mount Mansfield Boys and Girls. Mount Mansfield Union High School, Assumption High School, and strong possibility that Burlington High School and Champlain Valley Union High School could come in. I don't know what to do other than get us some exposure and bring some people in. So that would come up. So that's a nice piece to be thinking about. Thirdly, in talking with Barre, the New Athletic University and Greg over at my University of Johnson. This goes back to the college game we started 2 or 3 years ago. They want to do an annual event between those two campuses, Norwich boys and girls, Johnson boys and girls, and have the basketball game here at the auditorium. So again, doesn't bring many people in, probably. It surely helps sell the banners, because that's what all the sponsors tell me, just get things happening. And here's the big one. We're about, I'm gonna put a number on it, 75% in letting and having it happen. I made a phone call. I made a phone call to the Vermont Principal Association regarding the Vermont State High School Wrestling Championships. That too is going the same way as the music festival. They bounce it around from school to school. Mount Anthony hosted it for a number of years, and just this past year, I don't know who it was, but I presented to the EPA. I mean, you can put down 2 or 3 mats at the same time on the floor. Sit up in the balcony, fans can sit up on the stage. They thought it was a great idea. I think there's a good chance of hosting the Vermont State Wrestling Championship sometime in. So, again, that's a long ways away, but
So it's the week after the basketball championships?
probably. And that's. It's gonna take a little moving around and so on and so forth. I would make high school, you get 2 or 3 high schools, they've done it in the past. Like this friend of mine, they have a tournament named after him, the Mike Baker Classic. Local schools, Mount Mansfield, SB, they put the mats down. That was no expense to us, it's the exposure, and we'll make it. Great. That's the state of that, so I'm very excited about it. And last, but not least, last Wednesday, George Truly was the speaker at the Rotary. I battled 16 or 18 members, one of which was the city manager. Rotary. So, it's a good, sweet. They all looked a good night's sleep that after that lunchtime, listening to me. But it was another opportunity to spread the good things that were happening up here. And I mentioned the great work Rick's doing. It's been a long 7 years up here. All these things we've been talking. But at least now they're getting addressed and so on. It's amazing. It's amazing.
We're all on progress.
Yeah, and remember what GE used to say? So, yeah, so, new solstice, girls and boys up in Chittenden County, Norwich and Johnson, and will be here for sure. 80%. Gentleman by the name of, his last name is, his last name is Fournier. The BPA has contacted this gentleman, I'm going to say it, who I think is the on-site administrator for the wrestling championship. So that, and I should have, EPA had given permission to do things, two things. We can increase the winter solstice from 14 to 16 above that. And also, this, Mr. Thorne, we're gonna get to see how we can get the wrestling championship scheduled to be here. We're hugely disappointed if that doesn't go through. Again, that's not. Yes,
So you're just sharing great news, and it's demonstrating how your personal relationships really bring a lot to this organization, and I really appreciate it.
So,
It is.
all of those having all games or something like that.
We actually, we actually just had a lady reach out. She's trying to start a Central Vermont volleyball team. And she wants to use the turf during the summer. Yeah,
Or, like, business teams, or,
just anybody. And Charlie wants to start a volleyball team, and it's like we used to do for men's league. You know, Gustos would have a team, or Mulligan would have a team, or whatever, and they come in and they just play against each other.
Just think of high school, I know that, I think all bigger is, well, thanks. I know some of the other high schools, especially public, should. Something that's growing, and it just seems like on our. Silly.
do we have the built-in interest?
No,
Wait,
no,
that's a good question. There's a disagreement. Yeah,
I was thinking, if you're talking, maybe there's some state volleyball tournament, something.
well, there is, it's probably on that rotating basis.
That would be
You know,
good.
nothing ventured, nothing gained, so all. Yesterday, I feel about. Here. Well, yesterday I went to visit a person who advertised my tenure of my quick years we're going to start to fall in place here, October, December. 65% of it. Do.
Mhm.
And, you know, I do, I take a picture, you know, this has been English family for 3 years, yada, yada, yada. We've been fortunate because more people say yes, 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 yes. You know,
I know the career center was just saying, if their situation is today, they're like, "Ooh, you gotta make sure that's repaid." So I don't know, the career center.
Yeah.
They gotta, she was saying, we gotta make sure that we repay that, sure it gets paid up.
they're okay.
Yeah, I said, if you're still up there, you're okay, the two would tell us to take it down right away.
There's no, the only other place that Rick's working on that, we can add 4 more banners over the vehicle.
The one thing I'm wondering is we should reach out, and I don't know who we reach out to, but with that merger between BSECU and New England Federal Credit Union, they may want to update theirs. Vermont State Employees Credit Union, they merged with New England Federal Credit Union out of Burlington. So now they're like the biggest credit union in the state. I think BSECU has. No,
Yeah. So,
they're opening a brand new branch right here across the street from our civic center sign, so might be a good point to contact them.
we have, 2, we have 3 or 4. So,
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, I did it today. Yes, okay.
You think that our pricing is correct?
Well, yes, the short answer on that is yes. The piece that is getting a little troubling is that Chris Ford, he's having trouble finding a person that. So kind of. So there's another. He's charging us, so we have to charge back to the customer. So. Give it 10% bump. And people would accept it. Well, you consider if there's 49 people. That's a pretty good piece of change, right?
Okay, any other questions for Jim? Anything else? Question? Okay, yeah. Moving on. No, we were saying. They, two other things. One, I'm not here next July, that meeting. So either we continue with
Happy to do
that.
that.
Okay. Second thing, I don't think I can do this, but, make a motion for an executive. And to include, Maggie and Rick. I can't second that.
Oh, I was second.
Okay, so if we wanted to, Joanna,
Okay.